everyone, this is Tamara, your courtroom companion, and this is the channel where we talk about family court, custody, and narcissism. So if you are interested in those three topics, this is the channel for you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you are a faithful follower, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to answer in very simple terms the answer to, will a narcissist ever change? So I'm going to do that in very simple terms for you. And also stay to the end, because as always, I'm going to share a personal story from my own narcissistic abuse journey. And I do that so that you might recognize some of the behaviors that were in my story, and so maybe you can identify them in your own story and find ways to get yourself out from underneath that abuse. So that's the purpose of sharing my story. So do stay to the end so you can hear that. As always, what I express here is just my own personal journey. I'm not a therapist, I'm not an attorney, so if you need that kind of support, do seek that out. I'm just sharing what I've learned in the last 8.5 years of my own custody battle. So let's just jump right in. Let me answer the question, will a narcissist ever change? And the answer to that question is no. Narcissists, by their very nature, believe that they are superior to everyone else and that they don't have any flaws, and that everything going wrong in their life is the fault of somebody else. Everything wrong in life in general is the fault of somebody else. So they don't think they need to change. And so you likely won't find them in a therapist's office. And if you do, it's likely because they are either court ordered to be there, or that it's part of some grand manipulative scheme that they have. Perhaps they're with a new partner, or even with a partner they've had for a long time, and they go to therapy, with the disguise of, yeah, let's work on us, but really they're there to show the other partner that everything is their fault. So they try to get the therapist on their side, and so that's usually when you'll find them in a therapist's office. It's not generally because they're there for self-development or self-improvement, because they don't think anything's wrong with themselves. So they're not going to go to therapy for that reason. So that's the answer to the question. They're not going to change because inherently they don't think there's anything wrong with them that needs changing. So now I'm going to share with you a little story from my own journey, and I like to refer to this as the 940 issue, and it's the time 940. The issue was, we were in court. My ex-husband brought us to court for, I don't even remember what the issue was at that point, and so the court date happened to fall on a transition day when our son was supposed to transition from me to him, and it happened after school. I'm not exactly sure at the time we were supposed to transition at that point, but we were in court that day. And so normally I would bring him to the transition, but we were both in court, so obviously I couldn't do that. I can't be in two places at one time. And so after court, I got a text message, and I have the text messages right here, and he says to me, and he says my son's name, so-and-so wasn't at pickup at 3:30. Can you tell me when he will be there? And I would like my full time with him, and can just return him later tonight. So we were in court because my ex filed a motion. So we were only in court because he filed the motion. So we're there because of him. And I said to him, as you know, we were in court. I will meet you at the Giant a little after 5, or you can pick him up from childcare now. So I'm basically saying, you can come get him, or I can bring him to you. So what ended up happening was, I met him at the Giant and transitioned our son. And when he got in the car with his dad, his father says to me, he says, just got him, meaning I know you just got him. He got out of my car into yours, and his father says, just got him, we'll return him at 9:40. Thanks. And I said, we were in court together, so you were not even available at 3:30, so your logic that you were entitled to the time back is flawed. The court order says 8. He has to get up early. Let's compromise and say 9. So basically what he was saying was, he wanted his full time with him from 3:30 to 8. But because we got out of court late, his time was shortened. And so he's basically saying he wants that entire duration. So he wants to bring him back at 9:40 on a school night. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense, because we were in court. We were both there. You didn't lose time. You wouldn't have been able to be with him. But rather than argue with him, I know that goes nowhere. So I said, let's just compromise. I think 8, you think 9:40, let's say 9. And he said no. And he literally brought him. I had to go out at 9:40 at night and go get him from the parking lot at the Giant. that did not go well for him later in another court hearing when we actually had our custody hearing. The court could not believe that he used that logic. And so I don't know if you recognize that behavior in anything that you're dealing with, but it's just one example of hundreds that I have where he exerted control over the situation and did not use common sense. He just didn't use common sense, and that was talked about in later hearings, and the court just couldn't believe it. So anyway, that's a story from my own journey. I hope that's helpful to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.